Hi there, welcome to Elm Colors. I'm Erica. On today's video, I am going to be sharing with you guys kind of my process on how I find my color palettes and inspiration images, and then kind of talk you a little bit through how I go about applying them to my pages. Now, this isn't an exact science that I can give you very specific details. This is just kind of a just a how I do it thing. But I've had enough requests out there that I wanted to have a dedicated video just for this topic. But yeah, basically Pinterest is my go-to, right? So I'm going to share a video here with you. I'm going to do a little bit of a voiceover so you guys can kind of see my thought process as I'm going through the video. Now, because it's just recorded off of my phone screen, it's going to be just, a smaller video in the middle of the screen here. But yeah, I'll talk you through some of my thought processes. And then when we come back, I will kind of show you the images I ended up with and how I want to apply them to the pages that I have here. So yeah, so let me go ahead and roll that extra footage and I will be right back with you. Okay, so I have my Pinterest opened up here and I am going to be searching for space illustrations. And so I tag illustration on the end of the whatever it is I'm usually searching for, and that really helps get to the aesthetic I'm going for. So you can see it pulls up all kinds of different things. So depending on what you're looking for, if you want something more graphic or something more like painterly, it's going to come up with several different things for you. But as you scroll through and search and find things that you like, Pinterest will learn and narrow down what you're looking for. So as I'm scrolling through here, I'm just looking for something that's different or something that catches my eye. And then this one here is one that I thought was kind of different and kind of fun. So I'm going to save that to my phone. And at the bottom of the image, when you pull it up, there are 3 little dots. You can click on that, click download image, and it'll save it to your phone. And then you're good to go. So yeah, then I just keep scrolling, again, just looking for things that catch my eye. I mean, a lot of these illustrations were really cute, and I really did like them, but I just wanted something a little bit different than what I would normally do. And so I've got some that are more painterly and some that are definitely more graphic, like this one. And then sometimes when I find one that I really like, I'll scroll down from there and see what else I can find that I like that's Pinterest thinks is similar to this illustration that I had picked. So yeah, so I'm just continuing back on through my search here and keep finding things here and there. Like I find things that I like this one I did like because it was purples and painterly, but it's not really the feel I'm going for. This one I think is really cool, and I have an image in my head that I might be able to apply this to, but I'm not sure, so we'll see. Yeah, and that's basically all I do. I just keep scrolling, keep searching, trying to find things that I like. Sometimes I get way too many options, but other times I just find things I'm like, oh yeah, that's really cool. I could really make that work. So yeah, just search until you're happy with the amount of images that you have. Okay, so for this next part, I really did like the illustrations that I got, but I wanted something that was more alien. So I really wanted something like world-wise or city-wise that would kind of help me in coloring like alien worlds or City Among the Stars, just with some fun different color palettes and different lighting effects. And I found some really good options with this. So I typed in alien city and then Pinterest just popped up with concept art. So I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great way to end a search, to kind of give you, especially with the styles that I'm looking for. I want something that's interesting and different and something that I probably wouldn't be able to think up in my own head. And that's really where I get a lot of my inspiration from. And yeah, so I just searched through that for a little bit until I decided maybe another keyword, another search word at the top would be a good idea. And so I ended up changing that. So here you can see that I am getting ready to, there we go. So I am changing it from space, what did I have on there? Whatever it was, to alien world concept art. And then this one really gives me some interesting ideas. And sometimes things pop up like again that you weren't expecting to see. But then like this one, for example, I think this would be such a cool color palette in something in Alien Worlds. Just with, it shows like different kinds of foliage in different colors, and it's not ever something that you have to follow exactly. These are always just ideas, starting off points for me. And I really enjoy Pinterest. Now, some of these do specify that they are AI modified. I am not like using this as for profit or anything like that. I'm not putting this on a t-shirt or anything like that, but using them for ideas, I think, is totally fine, and for reference sometimes is totally fine. I think that's where the AI art can sometimes be beneficial, but I don't believe that anybody should be profiting off of it. It just doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, so sorry, random tangent there. And so I just kept searching and just kept having fun, and then I got another idea. I felt like I finally had enough like world ideas and color palette ideas. So really now I wanted to find some alien inspiration. Like, how would I actually color the aliens or the astronauts or whoever it is on my coloring pages? So I typed in alien, just took the world out and put in alien concept art. It wasn't quite giving me what I wanted, but at the top of the Pinterest screen, there are these little tabs, and one of them said humanoids or humanoid creatures or something similar to that. And I was like, well, what is this? And so I click on that, and that really takes me to what I need to see. So here is really what I was looking for. I wanted the actual creatures, different color schemes for their faces, different just ways to shade, and just different cool ideas. And so this one, I really hit the jackpot with this, and if Pinterest hadn't suggested that, that would have been upsetting, because I would have been frustrated. But always kind of look at those tabs at the top too. That's another thing, because Pinterest does kind of separate things into tabs. And as you're searching, it will learn what you are searching for. You just have to keep going and keep searching. So let's go back and see what I found. Okay, so after searching, these are the sheets that I ended up with. So once I have these images downloaded to my phone, I use an app called Canva, which is free to use, and you can download on your phone or your computer, and then you just upload the photos in, and you create different, this is a flyer format, so then I can just upload whatever pictures I want. I place them where I want them, size them how I want them, and then I can print this up on my printer at home. So this is just regular printer paper. It's nothing fancy. I just have, my printer is an HP Envy, so it's not like a super fancy printer either. But this works great for me, especially since it's just for like inspiration. I don't have to, worry about it being top tier, whatever. So this is what I found, and I really went a couple different ways. So you can see like some of these illustrations, like these ones up top, they're very similar. They're all kind of in that same color palette and very graphic. Then I've got some that are a little bit more painterly here, and then some ones that are kind of a different color palettes too. So I just kind of really had fun with what I was searching for. Here are some of those alien world and alien city ideas, which I feel like those ones are going to be some really awesome color palettes and ideas too. I loved like different things that I liked about some of these. I really liked the glowing effects on this one. Just really liked this whole color palette over here. Again, the color palette here was neat. I thought the lighting effects on this one was really cool. Not sure if I would be able to pull that off, like if I could figure out in my brain how to pull that one off, but I like it. Color palette for these ones down here. And then like these two, I just really liked the way that they applied the colors. So the fact that the sky is purple and the water is all greens and stuff, I thought that was really cool. And the different trees and foliage on this one, and that the water is like a reddish pink. So just looking at things and finding things that appeal to you, I think is the key for this. Same thing on this one. I knew that I had a couple alien creatures in a couple of my books that I wasn't sure what color palettes I wanted to use. This was so helpful. And then you also saw the one where they had like the different bodies. But I figured if I had the face, I could probably figure out the bodies. But that one was a really helpful one. I'm so glad I found it. And then just, I love this. I love everything about that. I don't know what it is. And this one. And then I have the Galaxy Queen book too, that I thought maybe some of these skin tones would be really cool to do on those books. So that's what I ended up doing. Let's kind of take a look. Now, basically, all I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find pages for the palettes I have, or use, like, I've already picked some pages in these books, and maybe I can use these palettes on pages that I've already picked. So we'll see how this works, but that's my game plan here. So let's start easy. Let's start with Galaxy Queen. And I did previously pick out a couple pages in this book. So I have this one, which she's gorgeous. And I have this one. And I have this one. So I feel like all three of those would be, like, could benefit from an alien kind of skin tone. I do like all of those. And I think they're all interesting images. And normally, like, if I saw this one, she'd probably have, you know, I would probably do like a normal skin tone of some sort, maybe a different color hair, and then something fun with her spacesuit. You know, I wouldn't have thought in my brain to go ahead and do like a really cool different color palette for her skin, because my brain just doesn't work that way most of the time. Like, when I see things, I'm like, okay, she needs a skin color that's actual skin color, and a hair color that's, you know, it could be sometimes different colors because people do that now. But like, I would have probably gone with like a blue and then done different colors in the planets, you know, and that would have been fine. It would have looked great. But sometimes I just want to add that little bit extra. And that's where these inspiration images really come in to help with those kind of ideas. So I loved all of these images down here. So like this one, I think would look really cool with this kind of greenish skin tone. I loved the eyes on this one, how they're just big solid orbs. So I might color all of her eyes in. And then I know that the hair is black, so I might kind of change a little bit of that, since that we've got the black background and stuff. But then, yeah, I just like that green color. I think that would be a good one for that one. These two, I really like both of them. I'm not sure which one I would do. Now, again, it doesn't have to be an exact copy of what you're seeing, but like, since she's, you know, she's got all these cute little things on her face, I feel like something like this bluish skin tone. But I do like, what I like about this is that, like, there's different parts of her face are different blues and tans and greens all mixed together. And so you can kind of take inspiration from that. So I could have like this part of her face be different and then fade into darkness, but still have, you know, these spots on here with like a darker blue. And then, you know, there's just all kinds of ways to interpret that inspiration. Seems like a lot of the alien ladies have black hair, or no hair at all, but a lot of black hair. But I don't know that I want black hair, because I want it to stand out from the background. So I'm not sure what I would do on that, but I like the skin tone idea for this one. And this one, I had originally, when I was looking at it, I had originally said that maybe like a galaxy skin tone. But if you look at this girl's face, you can see there's pink on the cheeks and the nose, and, you know, all the different blues and stuff. I really like that one. But that would be a fun one too, where you can see like on her skin, she's got like a pattern on her shoulder as part of her skin. And that would add some fun interest to this bare shoulder that's here too. So I don't know, like this one, I'm not sure if I would do. I might take some inspiration from the pattern on her skin, but maybe have to find, this one might take another search to where I would actually like search the term, you know, fantasy galaxy skin or something like that. Or you just kind of have to play with your words a lot when you are searching for images. So yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead though, and with these other two, I'm going to cut out the images that I want to add in here. And then I use some washi tape and tape them in place. Okay, so I at least have an inspiration image for this one and one for this. Now this is going to be, you're probably looking at this going, that doesn't translate. It's not going to work. But I feel like I'm going to make it. I'm going to be able to make it work. So I just think that that's going to be cool. And again, if it doesn't work, it's a coloring book and it's okay. It's all right if you mess up. It's not a big deal. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do here. I might, like I said, go back through and see if I can find another inspiration image for like galaxy skin ideas. But yeah, that's what I've got for these ones. Another book that might benefit from these other two, like these little ladies here. I've got a few, there's several characters in this book that would be really cool, kind of spacified up. That one there would be neat, I think. I like that. I could probably use, but like, you know, there's so many different characters in this book that are spacey that I just feel like they would just be cool. Okay, so this one, for example, I feel like this one would be a fun one to do with maybe this color palette and this like skin tone, and then the dragon could kind of be similarly colored. And the other thing is, you know, I do really like these little antennae that are coming off the front. So I could always draw those in too. Like I could paint them in with a paint marker or something if I really wanted to add them in. But I like that one for that. Okay, so I've got that taped in. And, you know, I don't have to use every inspiration I printed either. That's the other thing that you got to remember. If you're not finding something that's going to work, it's okay. But there are so many in here that I really, really like that I feel like would be fun. Okay, so there, I think in this book so this is the image that I was thinking about for this one. Now, there's also one in her little kids space book that would be a fun one for this too, but I just thought that was just so fun with the different colors coming out of the rockets, and I had remembered that there were a few of them like that in here. So maybe that would be a fun thing. I could add in the fun clouds behind it. So yeah, I'm going to cut that one out and plop that one in here. And also, if I don't, you know, get to these right away, I have this for future reference. I can just look on it and be like, hey, remember that time that you wanted to color that? And yeah, and then I can just go from there. Okay, so let me see if there's anything else. All right, so I had another idea for this one, which I think would be fun to add in. I've got a couple of different ones. So I've got this one where it's just like all kinds of fun, like swirly, but I feel like a fun swirl across the front of that circle would be fun. So there's that one. And then there's also this one here. I kind of like the colors in this one just a little bit better. But that could be easily achieved with paint markers and gel pens and things like that. So I'm thinking I'm going to pop that one in here for this. Okay, got some good ideas for this book. Let's move on to another book. So I did pull Shooting Star. Now this one is not necessarily alien at all, but there's a lot of stars and there's a lot of areas where you could add in like a sky, like a galaxy sky of some sort. Okay, so I have 4 options here that I really do like. I like this one. The idea that she's floating through the sky and she sees this galaxy up here. That one's really cute. I like this page here. And if I'm thinking like this is the moon, then, you know, all of these stars could be glowing. That would be a fun kind of idea. This one's, I mean, pretty self-explanatory. I like the one with the house. I feel like if you could do that as a nighttime sky in the background, that would be fun. And then you could kind of add some paint markers and stuff to the smoke escaping from the house. That would be cool. And then of course this one is another great one, I think. I like both of these actually. That would be a fun kind of double page. But so color palettes wise, I feel like I'm real drawn to this one for some reason. And I feel like this one would be fun with like this purpley pink kind of color palette. You could use, you know, the different colors on the trees and the clouds and everything, and then have, yeah, I like that one there. So I'm going to pop that one into that. And then I think this one as well, I'm going to do something with that one too. Okay, yeah, I feel like this one would be good on this page. I might not do it exactly like that, but I like the bright colors. I feel like all of these bright colors would be great for some of the stars. Having a really dark sky in the background, but then having like these fun wavy bits on there. Maybe having like the ground be like blues, and you know, have the water here kind of reflecting a light a little bit. So yeah, that's my thought for that one. It'll be definitely a more dramatic page than I think most people would make it, but I think that that would be fun. So yeah, there's a couple good ideas for Shooting Star. Next, I've got a nice little town space trip. Now, I'm not sure which one of these I'm going to be really, because I feel like some of these color palettes would go really fun, and these ones as well. And then, you know, of course, I've got some really interesting aliens, because there's several aliens in here, and the worlds too. So I'm going to have to kind of look at everything and see what I can find. Let's start with the pages that I have flagged already. So I have this one flagged, which is kind of, you know, a house. I'm not really sure on that one. I love that picture. This one would be great for one of the world pages, I think. I feel like one of these would be perfect for this. Let's see which one I like. So I like that there is like, you know, this water here, and I love these little these little clear blob things. I feel like that would be really fun in greens. There's like these snake creatures here, and there's, you know, these aliens here that have like the long tails. I feel like maybe this color palette would be fun. It's got 2 moons in the sky, 2 moons in the sky. We're going to go with this one. Okay, I think that's a good option. That'll be a fun challenge to get that color palette on here. And then the other one I have flagged is, oh, this one is a good one. I like this one a lot. Now, this isn't so much a city, but these floating things kind of remind me of these little floating buildings. That would be kind of fun. I think I'm going to lean more towards this one. I think. Let me double check one more thing. Yeah, I'm going to go with this one. Yeah, so when I was thinking about it, I was just trying to figure out, you know, what colors from this would be easily incorporated into this. I feel like the tops of these would be really fun, and these mustards and bright pinks and oranges and things like that. The landscape would be really cool with the blue and like the darker blue, like rocks coming up, different shades of blues and purples in the landscape. And then whatever I want to do for this little guy, I'm not sure what I would do for that, but probably different metals, maybe just kind of combined together would be fun for that. But yeah, I think that'll be a cool one. So I've got a couple in this one now. Let's do one more book. All right, so last book is Alien Worlds. This is the one that I really want to color in, and I've been struggling to think of anything, how to color this. So let's start with the ones I have flagged. So once I have flagged, I have this one flagged. Now this one was one that I knew where, this is the one where I was kind of looking at like the different aliens for sure. And I thought it would be really fun to do like do pink tones, and then have those pink tones kind of translated, you know, represented in different areas of the page, just for something a little bit different, you know. And then still have, I'm going to do like the background is going to be space, and then with the aurora lights up at the top. But sometimes it's okay to just be inspired by one part and then to build your whole page off of that. So I feel like this one is definitely, I really just fell in love with that one. This is really good for, you know, different aliens all over the place. But yeah, so I'm going to go with this one. Okay, so as I was looking for information on this, I did find out that this is supposed to be like the frozen wastes. So there's supposed to be a lot of ice. But I still think I can make it work with the pink palette. I think that'll be good. Should probably be white, but I'm going to go with pink. Yeah, we're going to do that. But yeah, so this is a frozen wastes planet. So anyway, so yeah, so there's that one. The other one that I have flagged, I have this one flagged. I'm not going to do the double page spread, I don't think. but I wanted to think of something for this side. So that was when the landscapes were really coming in handy. I really like both of these. I think both of those are really cool. I feel like, oh, that one would be like the pinks and the light. Maybe I'll cut that one out and put it with the other one. Because I feel like, you know, if I'm using pinks and like light blues, and I didn't even see that. I'm going to do that real quick. Yeah, sometimes you get lucky and color palettes go together. Okay, yeah, so for this one, I guess now I'm down to a couple different. So I have these landscapes and this one. I mean, I can still do the same color palettes from these, but I don't know that those are quite the right inspiration. I do really like this one, and I do really like that one. Let me read about this world real quick. Okay, so these are the Rocky Barrens. So I think any of those would really work. Now this one says Celestial Seas, but you don't have to do it with the seas. I don't know that I want to try to mess with like the glowy effect. So I think I'm not going to do anything like that. And there's not really any water. Trying to decide between this one and this one. There's not really any plant life. There's just clouds, rocks, and the monster. Right? Yeah. I do kind of like this one. I think I'm going to go this way. I feel like the sky would be a good, yeah, we're going to go with that one. Then I can play and have fun with like the rock colors, you know, have them different blues or turquoises or, you know, things like that. So that's not just solid gray or solid, you know, whatever. I like that. Because who's to say that, you know, the rocks have to be gray or tan? It's an alien world. It could be blue. It's okay. All right, so yeah, there's that. And then the other one I have is just this one, but I'm going to do something else with that. I did want to try to, let me read about these planets again real quick. Okay, so this is the floating world, but I really wanted to do something with one of these two palettes. I feel like it would be cool to have like a lighter blue background, and then yeah, I think I like this one for this. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put this one in here. This one probably will not get worked on, but this is like for future reference, I guess. Okay, so I have all of these ones left. I can hold on to these, and you know, I have a little on my planner. I have them all kind of paper clipped into my planner on the back side of the cover. Oh, I know I wanted to put that one in there too. Hold on a second. Okay, yeah, so I thought this would look neat, kind of translated onto this as best I can. I just like the lighter bits of color mixed into the grayish blue. I think that would be cool. So I'm going to tack that in here too. Okay, so yeah. So I have several left over. I will cut these down to size. You know, if I really am still inspired by them, I will pop them into my planner so that I have some extra inspiration images. Every once in a while I go through and I kind of weed out the ones that I don't really like anymore, but that's basically all there is to it. So I've got ideas, you know, this is all part of my creative process. You know, I go through and I pick the pages, and then I go through and I find inspiration images, or sometimes I do that opposite way. I find an inspiration image that I really like, and I search through my books to find the perfect page for it. But, you know, it just kind of depends on the mood, but it's all part of the creative process. And then, you know, taking those images and applying them to the page, figuring out how you want your colors to go. It's all really, there's not really like a step-by-step process that I can explain for that. It's really just kind of based on feel and the fact that I've been doing this for so many years now that it's just kind of instinctive. Like, yes, I want, you know, this amount of color on this part of the page, or this amount of color to go on all of the, you know, this color to go on all of the foliage, or this color to go on this side, and this, you know, it just depends on the feel I'm wanting for the page. So for example, let's try to break that down just a little bit more. Sorry, I know I was close to being done. But like for this one, for example, these rocks are probably going to be blue. They're probably going to be a nice dark navy blue with some hints of color kind of popping out, maybe some yellows reflected on here every once in a while. I feel like this dude is probably going to be like either like a bright greenish yellow color or a red, possibly a red, because that would like signify danger, right? Um, the rocks on the back will be similar in tone, I think, to these rocks, maybe more of a turquoisey color. So they stand out a little bit from the background. And then like the smoke and stuff in the background, I feel like that's going to be like some yellows and reds kind of mixed into there. So yeah, that's kind of how I take the color from here to there. I don't really know why. I mean, other than the fact that there's rocks here, and so there's rocks here. And so that makes sense to me that they would be the similar tones. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Same thing for this one. Like, I feel like once I read about where this world is, you know, especially since before I didn't realize it was the frozen world. But then the fact that I have these two things is now perfect. So that I think my little character is going to be pinks. This guy will probably be a mix of white, pinks, and blues to kind of blend in with the background. All of these little mushroomy things would probably be different pinks. And then the landscape is going to be like different light blues, grays, whites, things like that. The sky is definitely going to be dark so that I can get the aurora in there. It'll probably be like a navy blue, like a darker blue color. And then I'll have the aurora done in there. I'm still not great at auroras, so that's something I'm going to have to figure out how to do, but I will try to record that when I do, because I already had a request for that. But anyway, so that's, you know, that's just kind of how I think about, you know, where I want my colors to go. So yeah, so I've got ideas for all of the books. Happy with the progress on that. And now I'm ready to pick up a book and start coloring, and it just kind of depends on, from there, I just, you know, what materials I want to use. If the paper is good enough for watercolor, I will tend to use watercolor in the backgrounds and then build up from there. If it's not, I'll use things like paint markers, paint, chalk pastels a lot, or alcohol markers if they're single-sided images. So yeah, I hope that helped today. I really, I wasn't sure how to exactly explain this, but I like I said, I really hope that it was helpful to kind of see me go through and find the images, figure out what kind of keywords you need to select for what you're looking for, and then how to kind of go about applying them to the images. So yeah, that is it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Bye.